Hey, this is me again, part 4. So I go in the next day, and nobody said anything. Everybody's fine. Wasn't like the big disturbance that they claimed it was. I mean, nobody even really asked what happened or anything like that. Which I think everybody knew that I was getting screwed over, but so that morning, I noticed that the manager and his girlfriend was coming back from the office or whatever, and then my husband proceeds to write me and tell me that they let her go, which I don't even understand why, because they could have used her, but I know why, because she should have never been there in the first place. She had no right being there in the first place. So they were trying to cover their tracks. I mean, and I left out a big part in the other one. After our meeting or whatever, she went into shipping and basically told the girls in there, she goes, I don't want to get rid of her, but, I can't have two people doing the same job. How does that even make sense? Because she wants me to do boxes, but there's already two people doing the same job. Inventory. They don't want people to do the same job and get paid for it, but, everybody's supposed to do their inventory. Well, I'm supposed to do my inventory? Does that even make sense? I mean, really, I'm asking you, does that make sense? I mean, everybody up there does 2 jobs or more. I mean, that's just the way it's been. That's the way it is. I mean, but, obviously, I can't have anybody help me. And I know the reason why. Because, like I said, she wants me to fail. She thinks she's using my disability against me. She knows I'm disabled. Oh, and another thing, I don't know if I said this in the other video, about me taking, I always take a day off or whatever, because usually my whole, like by Thursday, I usually take Thursdays off, my whole body is just killing me or whatever, so I take that off to just, get my bearings or whatever, and then go. But like I say, I always made up my time. Most of the, I always got to at least 36 to 40 hours, and, I mean, a lot of people up there worked 40, worked for the whole week and didn't even get that many, so, I mean, it wasn't like I wasn't doing my job or anything like that, because like I say, I always would make sure that they had everything that they needed for the next day. I'd work harder that day that I was going to take off, that Wednesday or whatever, and then make sure that they had, and like I say, there's even times that I've even came on the weekend and worked, whenever we started getting behind or whatever, or just. And like I say, we would even stay up there when weather was really bad, because at that time we lived in a trailer or whatever, and it was just easier to go up there and stay when tornadoes and stuff came in. And I would always, and that's my dumb self. I mean, I really, I would get the, towels and fold them, and, I would do work and everything else, just because that's the thing. I loved my job, and I loved working there, and I loved, help. I loved making sure that, everything was going to succeed and everything else. But like I say, that was pre-Jeff anyway. But, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, even before COVID and everything else, I still had kind of high hopes. I mean, I kind of figured something was going to happen. But I had high hopes that it was, going to succeed and everybody was going to, make something. And things were just going to get better. But it went downhill. It went worse. All because someone wanted to buy a house and COVID. They used that as, as an opportunity. So basically, they just, screwed us over. But anyways, so, I don't understand the whole, she don't want two people to do the same job whenever that's always, and especially if I'm doing boxes or if I'm doing other things and that's two people doing the same job. I mean, that does not even make sense at all to me. And everything else. And like I say, I know what it was. She was trying to use my disability. She thought that I wouldn't get help. Nobody would help me. And I would start getting behind because I would be hurting and wouldn't be able to work. What's funny is because that wasn't the case. I did everything that was asked of me. I mean, well, I did my job. I mean, technically, I didn't really, the whole box thing or whatever. I mean, I got to the point I didn't know what to do because I had, I'll explain it. So, okay, after I saw that, and you know, he told me that they were, you know, letting her go or whatever, I was like, well, and he's like, well, they're probably going to let you go. And I'm like, you know, that's the thing. This is the thing. If they would have did it then, I wouldn't even questioned it really. I mean, yeah, it would have been wrong because I really actually was being blamed and being, you know, I was being accused of something that I really wasn't doing, and I, you know, I took up for myself about it, but I could have understood them firing me. I mean, you know, I mean, that's the thing, is that I would have took my, what you call it, and, you know, that would have been it. Because, I mean, it was like, even though it was wrong, you know, I did kind of, you know, wasn't professional. I mean, I guess what you would call it. I mean, I wasn't trying to be that way. It was just, I was having a panic attack. I was, you know, very upset and everything else. But I mean, I would have took my licks, you know what I'm saying? So I wrote the guy owner, the one that's basically is his business. They're just like co-owners or whatever. But I even wrote him and I asked him, I was like, if y'all are gonna, well, I was like, if you're gonna fire me today, I said, can you do it or someone else do it? Because I said, I can't deal with her. I said, I don't want to see her. I mean, I can't see her. I was like, you know, she gives me anxiety. I mean, I even basically try to explain to him what she does to me and everything else. And he's like, no, I'm not, you know, he's like, no. He's like, that's the first, you know, that, he's like, unless you want to. I was like, no. I said, I want to do my job. But I was like trying to explain to him, like, what she's doing and everything else. And he was gaslighting me again, basically telling me all this stuff that, you know, oh yeah, you know, she don't really know, you know, this and know that. And word of advice, if you ever talk to your bosses or anything else, either record it or make sure you do it like on Messenger or text, because if you don't, then that's their word against yours. At least I do have proof that me and him actually had a conversation and what he told me. So basically he told me that she, you know, she don't really know. I mean, she's good at numbers and stuff like that and everything, and that, you know, I even told him I had the video and that if he wanted to see it, he didn't even ask to see it. Didn't want to, because he didn't care. I mean, so, you know, and then not once did he say that I was being written up. Not once did he say that I needed to go over a write-up and I need to sign it. Not once did he say that I was in trouble, that I did something wrong. Basically, he made it sound like everything was okay. And he basically like said, well, what we'll do is we'll just sit down and we'll come up with some numbers for her so to make her feel better. Like how many kits to do a day or whatever. It was just fine with me. I mean, honestly, I mean, you tell me how many to do and I'll do it. I mean, I'll probably do a little bit more over it, just, you know, just in case. But I would do what you tell me to do. I mean, the number. I mean, that's how we kind of started out before, was, you know, they gave me a set amount. But then once I got used to doing everything or whatever, they basically let me just do whatever I wanted. And so I did as many as I could a day. And so I usually, like I say, I would do, say like 200 to 300, maybe 250. I forgot. It depends on how many is in a bag or whatever. Because usually, like, some of them is like 50 in there. And I would do, like 2 or 3 bags or 4 bags, I think it was. So, yeah. I mean, it depends on how many, because some of them would be 50, some of them would be 36. It depends on how many is in a thing or whatever. But I put it like this, at least I know I did 200 and maybe more. But so you know, he's like, well, we'll just come, you know, we'll come up with a thing or whatever. And that was fine with me. So you know, I mean, everything seemed fine, because he's like, don't worry, she's not even here right now or whatever, you know. And like I say, he gaslit me because he didn't have no, I mean, they, you know, but like I say, that write-up that supposedly he handed me that day he terminated me, I never saw, I never signed, I never even had a chance to. And some of that he wrote, I mean, that they wrote on it, it was the day after of it, so it's not like, I mean, this was written supposedly after the meeting and stuff, so it wasn't like she had it at the meeting. So that's the thing, is that it never got brought up. I never knew nothing about it. I mean, he never said nothing. She never said nothing. And it's not signed. It's not signed by me, and it's not signed by her. It's got her name on, but it's not signed. Which I think, honestly, that the day that he terminated me, that he printed it out, trying to make it look like it was that day. But it wasn't. I don't even, honestly, I gotta go look back, because I don't even know if the date that she even said that is on there is the right date anyway. Because it didn't exist. If it did, then they should have gave it to me. They should have said something to me, but they didn't. We didn't go over it. He could have, I mean, that day, he could have went over it with me. He could have told me. He could have warned me. It could have been a warning. He could have told me, but he didn't. I mean, everything that he said was sound copacetic, you know, everything was fine. We'll work it out. We'll do everything that we can to make it better. Because I even told him about my anxiety, told me about things that was going on. I even told him, you know, I mean, but they're best friends. They're all friends. So if I talk about her, then of course she's going to find out about it, because they're friends. I mean, they're all good friends. So, you know, I had my job. And they had it out right then. They could have fired me right then. They had an out. I gave them the out. I mean, I really did. I gave them the out. I mean, I gave them out. So, you know, so after that, nothing ever really was, we get to August. August actually was pretty fine. It really nothing, except for the thing is, you know how he said we were going to have this little meeting and come up with stuff? Never happened. He come in there like once or twice and like, oh, well, we'll get with the manager guy or whatever and figure something out. Never happened. Never had a meeting. Not at all. Not once. So how am I supposed to... So I'm sitting there being blamed for not making enough kits that they set. I mean, technically she said, I forgot what number I was supposed to do or whatever, but the thing is, I did more than what she even said. So, I mean, that kind of throws her out, but the thing is, you know, we're supposed to set a number for me to do, and nothing happened. Nada. No meeting, no nothing. So, how can that fall back on me? I mean, if you're not, you know, setting anything, then how can that fall back on me? I mean, as long as I'm doing my job and we're not getting behind, then how is that going to be hauled? You know, how's that? I don't understand it or whatever. But so August, you know, the only problem that I had with August was it was like right before September. Was the inventory guy. He didn't want to do my inventory. Supposedly, they were going to make, everybody do their inventory, but that was bull. I mean, he gets paid to do inventory. He gets paid very well to do inventory. That's his job, which was my husband's job until it got taken away. And he never had no issue doing his job. Or my inventory. I mean, he's always had everything. Nothing ever was late. Oh, but I forgot he brought the wrong kind of water. Yeah. But everything was fine. We never had no issues. But then all of a sudden, it was issues left and right with him. I mean, and he didn't want to do it. I mean, he would come in there and he would just like huff and puff and just, it was like it was a big chore for him. And he's getting paid to do this job. I wasn't getting paid to do it. It wasn't my job. It wasn't my title. It wasn't my job. I wasn't getting paid to do it. He was getting paid to do it. And, I mean, he even admitted to people that he just did not want to do mine. It was too complicated for him, which it really wasn't that complicated. I mean, he's just lazy. That's all it is. He was straight up lazy. He wanted everybody else to do his work. So he basically, and wouldn't you figure if someone was doing inventory every Friday, supposedly taking it every Friday, you would know ahead of time that something was fixing to be, that we're fixing to run out? I mean, it's common sense. If someone's doing inventory every Friday like they were supposed to, or they said they were doing, you would figure if we were fixing to run out of towels, that you would know we were fixing to run out of towels. I mean, it's common sense, Well, we got to the point to where we were fixing to run out of towels. And I was waiting for someone to say something. Nobody would say anything. Nobody, and you figure, if he would say, yeah, we're about to run out. I'm fixing to order some or whatever. So I wrote, we have Slack or whatever, and I wrote on Slack, and I'm like, well, I'm just letting y'all know we're about out of towels. And of course the owner was like, well, I think he's got some on order or whatever, but you need to let him know ahead of time, a little bit ahead of time or whatever. And I'm like, oh, well, I thought he was taking inventory. I thought that he would know that we were about out of stuff or whatever, and which I do have that conversation, and everything else. And he's like, I'm just letting you know, heads up, just let him know. Not once was ever said, well, you need to take your own inventory. Not once was, you need to do this and you do that. So after that, I figured, I'm like, because then it kind of got brought up to me by him, not by them, but by him, about, doing my own inventory, which is bull. I shouldn't have to. He gets paid to do it. But I knew if I didn't do it and something come up not in, it would be blamed on me. I mean, I was a yo-yo. I mean, I was an emotional wreck because I did not know what to do, what not to do. I mean, I had one person telling me to do this. I had another, because I had the manager telling me to do one thing, and then I had the other owner telling me to do this, like, we'll do this, we'll do that. And then, of course, her, she's like this. So I'm like a ping pong ball going around, I didn't know what to do. I mean, I was just going with the flow because I had no clue. And that's the thing, is before this, I had confidence. I knew everything to do. I mean, I had faith in my job. I mean, I knew what exactly to do. And for some reason, they destroyed that. I mean, they destroyed that confidence because I did not know. I mean, I came home a wreck. I mean, I even wake up with nosebleeds and my anxiety and my blood pressure was so bad. I mean, even just seeing her, even though she wasn't talking to me, even just seeing her coming down, my blood pressure would get so bad that I would feel it in my back throbbing, and in my eye it would just like throb. I mean, it even got to the point to where if she came, I had to go to the bathroom because I couldn't see her, because it was sheer panic. I mean, anxiety, because I didn't know what was going to happen next. I mean, technically, after we had our meeting, she wouldn't even give me my paycheck. I think she knew that she ticked me off, but, yeah, it was like sheer panic and everything else, and, so I knew that if I didn't do it, then, I would catch hell. It would be me. It would be on me. And I ain't stupid. So I told him I'd do it. And at first I told him I wanted to do it the way I wanted to do it. I was going to just do count. All it is counting stuff. I mean, it's really not that hard to do. And I told him I'll do it this way. And then, that wasn't good enough. He had to have a piece of paper. So, I was like, fine. I'll do the piece of paper or whatever. I mean, even shipping even said that his system was kind of screwy. That was like just not easy. I mean, theirs is probably a way different than mine, and so it probably really was kind of, because he's not really that bright. He don't really. I mean, he messes up stuff more than he helps stuff. But, and I don't know why, but they love them and they want to keep them. I don't get it. I really don't. But, I mean, he complains, he cusses, he hits walls, he has outbursts, but I'm hostile. Oh yeah, I'm hostile. So, I started doing inventory. So, basically, I'm like, you know what? I'm doing inventory. I'm doing all my stuff by myself. Plus, if they want me to do something, I have to do their stuff too. Because, I mean, that's the thing. I could help them, but I couldn't have help. So, I was like, I'm going to ask for a raise. I mean, I've only had one raise since I started, and that was like the thing, when you start the 90 days, you get a raise or whatever. So I hadn't had a raise since then, and I was there for over a year and everything else. And, I mean, it was just the fact that I was doing way more work than whenever I started. And the fact that I'm doing a lot of this stuff on my own. And the fact that, and that's another thing. Since I'm doing somebody else's job, wouldn't that be two people doing the same job? But it was okay for me to do his job that he's getting paid very well for. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, don't it? So, I get the courage to ask for a raise that Friday. It was September, because it was, what is it, Memorial Day, or what, which day is it that in September that you're off, or like on a Monday? Is it Memorial Day or Labor Day? I can't remember. I think it was Memorial Day. I can't remember. You're off that Monday. So it was that Friday that I asked for a raise. And when I went in there, you don't know. I'm not the type of person that does this. I don't like confrontation with people or asking things or whatever. I would have never probably done this if, I don't know. I'm not that type of person to sit there and just, it takes a lot for me to get my courage and everything up to ask for stuff like this. And, I was so proud of myself because I pushed through my anxiety. I pushed through everything, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to go ask. What does it hurt to ask? All they can say is no. Yeah, little did I know. So, I go in and, I asked for the raise or whatever, and he, it was not that bad I should have recorded it. My dummy self didn't. But I mean, it wasn't a bad experience. I mean, he was basically like, I was like, I'm doing more work and inventory, and of course, trying to say, oh, well, we all do, and that's not true. We wasn't all doing inventory, and plus, I wasn't told to do inventory by him. I started doing inventory because I didn't want. I started doing my own inventory because I didn't want to be called out for whenever he screwed up or something didn't happen, something that happened or whatever. And the thing is, whenever we did run out of towels or whatever, I had enough kits and all that like I even told him, I was like, I think we have enough kits that it'll last us until we get the towels in. So if I'm not doing my job, if I'm not productive enough, why is it that we're not having, why is it, we're fixing to run out of stuff, but we're not running out because they're, and I'm doing all this by myself at the time. They're stocked up, but I'm not producing enough. I know that was country. Yeah. So I go in there, and he's like, oh, yeah, gaslighting again. Sure. I just need to, talk to the other owners to see where you're at, talk about salary or whatever. And, which is his company, it's his business. He should know these things, to be honest. I mean, the other owner did all this. He took care of everything, but he's not there no more. So this should be his responsibility. He should know these things, but he don't know it. So, he's like, yeah, I'll get with him, and then I'll let you know, the next, when we come back or whatever. Which is fine, And then we go out to shipping, because we're fixing to leave. And we go out to shipping, and then he comes in, and he's like, starts telling me, this is very convenient, after I asked for the raise or whatever. He's like, oh, yeah, we're fixing to do, like, rotation and have someone help you and stuff like that. None of this got brought up. None of this was even said or anything until I went in there and asked for a raise and said I was doing things on my own or doing things by myself. Even whenever I said something to him at the other thing, I don't even think he even said anything about having anybody help me or anything. He just, like, oh, well, we'll figure something out or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So all of a sudden he just said, oh, well, we're fixing to do like try a rotation thing or something. It was. He just trying to make me hear whatever, what I'm saying. But anyways, so we go to the next week whenever we come back, and I'm gonna stop it there and then start with this. This one right here is the big drama. This one right here, this one coming up, is that video that you see him pushing me. This is where it leads to that. So let me stop this here and then we'll go to that one. This one should be the last one, so bear with me. Bye.